So Freak Nation, his name is Austin Prock, who he's, again, been in the Freak Nation many, many times after big funny car race wins. And he joins us now in the Lucas Oil Studios, and I noticed that he was having a cold beverage before we went live, and you said it's hot as balls in Virginia. It's hot as balls all up and down that East Coast. How much weight do you lose sitting in that funny car after a race weekend?
Yeah, it was a scorcher this weekend, man. Definitely tough conditions to race in, but I got to imagine I lost 5 or 8 pounds in the last 2 days. You can't even drink enough to stay hydrated, especially in one of these, nitro fire suits. They weigh about 10 pounds, so it's like wearing a fur coat around here.
Austin, you're not 18 anymore. You're much younger than I am, but do the Mondays and Tuesdays after a drainer like this, does that hangover last a while? I mean, just that physical hangover from the heat and having to sit in the race car for so long?
Yeah, Mondays I don't do much when I get home. Just try and relax and regroup. From the outside looking in, it doesn't look like this sport is very physical, especially only, racing for 4 seconds at a time. But just the G-forces on your body and, the heat. And then it's really, it really strains your brain, your mental side of things. It takes a day or so to, kind of get caught back up and, get your energy levels back up. But good thing I'm young and, I can bounce back pretty quick. If I could drive this thing every day, I would, just to train all those elements of myself. But, we're going to celebrate big tonight, so I might have multiple hangovers tomorrow.
A physical hangover, a mental hangover. Who cares? It's a winning hangover, and that, regardless if it doesn't feel so great the next day, always feels good in the long run. So congratulations again. I know that we've talked nutrition with NHRA in the past, all motorsports actually, and pre-hydration used to be a thing. Is that still something that you guys focus on, knowing that you have a hot and humid weekend coming up? Do you start hydration policies, so to speak, 4 days ahead of time?
I try and 2 days prior, I try and start pounding some Pedialytes just to get some electrolytes in me. I'm not the greatest specimen of health by any means, but try and get some sort of liquid in me a few days prior. It goes a long way. One of our employees, Tim Fabrizi, who works on Force's or Beckman's car, it's still Force's car in my heart, but he told me in the military they try and hydrate 48 hours prior, just to get all those electrolytes built into you. They don't just, when you drink a bottle of water, it's not fixing you right then and there. It's just trying to keep up. So I learned that from him, and try and just get as many electrolytes in me and try and eat a little healthier when you're going to go into a scorcher like this. It was brutal. It's brutal for me, but it's really brutal for the team. They're out there in the elements, handling these hot parts. The clutch is coming out of the car over 1,000 degrees, and it's really hot for them. So I still work on the race car as much as I can, but I do have time to go sit up in my lounge and kind of cool off, where they don't get that luxury like I do. So it was a great weekend, great effort by the team. Really proud of these guys. It ain't easy.
Austin Prock joining us here in the Freak Nation Funny Car winner from Virginia. And you look at the Funny Car points race, and it's still pretty tight. And the parity in the NHRA Funny Car Series, I couldn't have predicted this, where you'll have names that you aren't that familiar going rounds and rounds and rounds. What's been the difference in the Funny Car class?
Well, after last year, we put a pretty good beating on the category, and like we assumed, everybody stepped up, and they've done a really good job. They put their heads to work in the off season, and we expected everybody to kind of step their game up, and they absolutely have. We haven't had quite the success that we had last year. We have the same amount of wins, Wallies, but not the same amount of round wins and Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge wins. So everybody's definitely stepped their game up, and it's made us push even more. Obviously we worked hard to try and maintain that edge, but everybody really did a good job of stepping up in this category. So, it's fun. It's exciting for the fans. I mean, you get the Dave Richards going to final rounds. Obviously, Paul Lee, he's no slouch. He wasn't a slouch before, but to see him, battling for, the top 3 in the points with, Johnny Lindbergh and John Medlin, they're smart cats, and Paul's been doing a really good job driving. So it's definitely been exciting seeing some new faces there up at the front, but really proud of these John Force racing cars. I mean, last year we did a good job of, holding a lot of Wallies as a team, and we've done a great job of that again this year.
Hey, Austin, I don't think I've asked you this. With John out of the car, of course, Jack Beckman in John's car, or it's Jack Beckman's car, okay? You back in the day, you would lean on John for advice and just a veteran personality, a veteran voice. Are you doing that with Jack Beckman, given the time that he spent in a drag car?
Yeah, for sure. You know, Jack's a legend of the sport. He's a great race car driver, and he's a great asset to John Force Racing. And on top of it, he's a driving instructor. You know, so I definitely lean on him. He helped me with it today. I was beating myself up over my reaction times. They weren't in quite the range that I'm used to, and you know, he kind of settled me down over that after first round, and I kind of got my act together. So I really appreciate all his help. I appreciate having him at John Force Racing. He's a great race car driver, and he's a great teammate, and he's great for our partners. He does an excellent job of you know, mentioning the sponsors' names, taking care of the sponsors, the employees that come around, and it's definitely someone to learn from, and I'm glad I got him in my corner.
Real quick, that's big to me. What does Professor Beckman say to you in the middle of a very heated, crazy, stressful day to suddenly make such a change that affects you positively in going on to the win?
Well, he's just positive with me, and you know, he told me essentially just to remember that I'm Austin Prock and I'm the world champion. You know, Jack Beckman, he talks a lot. I don't know if you've ever talked to him, so I only catch snippets of it because he talks for about 5 minutes when you ask him a 2-second question. But yeah, no, I love it. He's great, and you know, he came into the winner's circle tonight and congratulated us, and you know, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Hey, buddy, go enjoy this win. Hydrate. Do whatever you need to do to be a young man with another freaking wall in your hand, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
Cool. Thank you, guys.